welcome to another episode of the Small Town Tourist Podcast, where we experience and explore everything that makes small towns great. I'm your host, Abby, and today we are hanging out with my best friends. We recently went on a trip to Galveston, Texas. Initially, this trip started out as wanting to go somewhere in Mexico, go all-inclusive and just hang out at a resort for a week. Then we realized not everyone had their passports ready to go and just the timeline didn't line up. And somehow we ended up in a house on stilts in Galveston. But the trip made it out of the group chat, and that's the most important part. We had such an amazing trip down there. And this is just kind of our episode that we recorded our last night at the Airbnb, recapping some of the adventures that we went on over the few days that we were in Galveston. It was a great trip. I'm so glad that we got to do it, and I'm hoping that more trips make it out of the group chat in the future. So please enjoy our time hanging out with my friends at our Airbnb in Galveston, Texas. Hey, Erin, what was your favorite part of the trip?
I have two favorite parts of the trip. One would be swimming in the ocean, because we are kind of weird about it, even though it's really cold. We went all in. And also going to the aquarium, specifically the penguins, because I was always a penguin girly growing up. Love penguins. They were swimming everywhere.
Being an outsider to the OG3, as we call it, what's your take on us and our love for aquariums?
I learned about this very early on in my relationship and getting to know you, because you call them liquid zoos. And I just...
Liquid zoo.
I don't really know what to say about it, other than if I go to a new place with you and there's an aquarium nearby, you will be going to it.
Yeah, we're good at finding aquariums and zoos in general. We've just always been big zoo people for no reason other than we are.
A great love for animals.
Yeah. Any other highlights from the trip you want to point out?
My belly is stuffed. That's all I really have to say.
A lot of good food. Okay, Nick, favorite part of the trip?
Smash. No. What are we playing? I'm Nick.
That's been established.
My favorite part of the trip is getting to hang out with my two high school best friends that I've known for so long, and it's so much fun to be silly and weird all the time. Yeah.
Okay, that's great and wonderful, but give some actual highlights of things we did.
Laughing with my best friends. No, I liked the hashtag live. No, I think just like this Airbnb was a lot of fun as a house on stilts, which is our first time, and it did sway, which was weird. But yeah, we just like played a bunch of games and like sat around the hot tub with our margaritas, and we like reminisced about who our 6th grade science teacher was. We played bingo.
Wait, what was the Connors?
Conrad.
Conrad. Okay.
Can't forget that one. Yeah, and we just finished up playing bingo for dumb prizes, where we went to a souvenir shop and just bought a bunch of random crap that we thought was awesome. And then
what was your random crap?
The random crap I gave, which was a solid gold palm tree bottle opener, which I thought was pretty fun. It is solid gold. Abby's gonna take that one to the bank.
Yep. I'm gonna put that in a safety deposit box.
But I won the fanciest nail clippers I've ever seen. Which looked like something out of a Nicolas Cage National Treasure gold medallion movie. Like, I don't know how quite to describe it, but I needed the nail clippers, and my wife needed nail clippers, so perfect.
It's also a souvenir keychain that says Galveston on it.
Yes, that's a keychain. The wishing boot. It's what you need. When you need it.
If you've never seen the wishing boot from SNL, please Google that and then come back to this podcast, because we quote it too much.
Yeah.
Any other memorable moments?
Yeah, I mean, that was great. Like, I'm a big sucker for plants, so this rainforest pyramid that we went to was pretty neat. And there's like this monkey that was like right next to us.
Yeah, 26 years old.
26. Yeah.
Still just chilling away.
Yep. Good trip.
Cool. Okay, pass it off.
I'm passing my mic to someone who.
Think
I'm
about
passing the
something
mic to
fun we did
someone.
in the past 72 hours.
My name is Lindsay, and I think Corey will get the drunkest tonight. My name's Lindsay, and I think Nick will inflict the most pain tonight.
Nail clippers suck.
Solid gold, Aaron. What do you expect?
It's too late to return
It's just a piece of skin. Can you just take it off my finger?
I have a good one in my bag. You want the
I
good one?
got a free one. You want a good one?
Here.
It's literally just a hangnail. It doesn't be that hard.
We didn't really talk about. I mean, walk around the beach. We saw those washed
No,
up
I didn't.
jellyfish. That was
Thank
weird.
you.
Oh, the jellyfish. Talk about the jellyfish.
We poked a jellyfish. I don't know. We were just walking around the beach, which is pretty cool. And it's, there's shells, and we're looking for shells and things. And then all of a sudden, it's just like big blob of jelly on the beach.
Yeah, and we totally did not know what it was at first. We were like,
And
is
we're
this garbage? Is
we're
this a plastic bag?
someone
No, it's definitely
poke it.
not. It's definitely organic. I'm not really sure.
Like, there's some driftwood over there. Maybe you go poke it. I flipped it over, and it was kind of solid, but
We're like, oh, I don't know. And then we saw 50,000 more
yeah, it's
over the course of 2 days.
R.I.P. jellyfish. Pour one out.
Pour one out for the jellies. Okay, Lindsay, what was your favorite part of the trip?
I think very early on, my favorite part was that tiki bar that we went to. We went to this bar, and it was a little confusing at first, but I think that the place is a little pick me. But that's how I feel. That's how I feel. So you walk in, and it was like, okay, well, we have everything ever, but just whatever you want to do is fine. So there's signs. I'm like, okay, so the margarita bar is this way, the tequila bar, and then we have the rum bar, and then we have this bar and that bar and the other bar and whatever. And then we just decided on the one that said tiki bar, which was fantastic. It was super fun. It was out I don't know, inside outside. We were under a roof and
Canopied patio?
Canopied patio. Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. But we were inside mostly, but also there was no walls, so you could still smell the ocean and feel the breeze, and there was birds walking around. But yeah, we got some really tasty beachy beverages and some great little appetizer-y food, and it was really great ambiance and really kind of a good kickoff to the beach trip, I would say.
Yeah, tell us about the dirty monkey.
Who brought up the dirty monkey? I didn't have the dirty monkey. Josh had the dirty monkey. Why am I talking about the dirty monkey?
Because he's yours.
Okay, well, I had a sip, I guess. Well, I don't know. It was kind of pina colada-y, but also had some banana and caramel.
It was pretty dirty.
And then also had a skewer of fruit on the top, which didn't seem relevant, but was very tasty. I think it was strawberry and pineapple. You talk about the dirty monkey. Ladies and gentlemen, the dirty monkey himself, Josh Stangler.
Hi.
Any other memorable moments?
Walleye chop.
Yeah, no one has mentioned when we
Okay,
did the
so-
first full night we were here.
So I might have had a couple of beverages and referred to the ocean waves as walleye chop, and I don't think I'll live it down for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
that was some big walleye
ghost
chop.
tour. I
We
completely
both
forgot.
talked about
Ghost
the ghost tour.
happened. Oh my god.
I was also more concerned about my beverages on the ghost tour than anything, so I was probably not the best person to talk about that.
We never looked at those music videos.
Oh, yeah. Kenny Rogers and then DMX. Oh, Corey's playing piano.
Playing the
Okay.
keyboard, all right.
Josh, you got anything to contribute to the group here? Favorite part?
Can I get a hot tub?
The hot tub time machine. I met a new woman. She was 26 years old, and we had a staring contest in the rainforest.
What?
The monkey.
I can tell you about one thing I'll never forget because it made me realize how much I'm like my mother. When you were out thrashing wildly in the ocean,
That was not thrashing.
you were thrashing. You were thrashing wildly,
Confirm it.
and you were so far out, and it just like I was just standing there going, "Oh my god! If we lose sight of his beard, he's gone forever. Like none of us are qualified to save you."
It was still a nipple deep out there.
You were getting there were swells at any given point.
I wanted to keep going deeper.
If there's swells, it's not appropriate.
You gave me the nervous.
That
I'm
was-
glad you survived.
That was not swells. That was just walleye chop.
It was just walleye chop. Yeah, no one talks about mini golf.
Very cold.
Yeah, we
There's too many things.
kind of some unfortunate weather the last day, but we made the most of it. Got around to mini golf in, and
It's kind
Josh
of
won.
It's kind of sad that we're saying it was very cold when back home was like 30 degrees. Oh no,
It was seasonably,
seasonably cold.
unseasonably cold. Is that how the woman described it?
Yeah, I believe those were the
So
exact
we're,
words.
We're allowed. We're allowed to. We're allowed to say it was cold because a person who lives here said it was unseasonably cold.
The Rita's Ice lady said that.
Oh
yeah.
If you ever have a chance to go to Rita's and get gelati, so great. It's probably like 6,000 calories per ounce, but it was fantastic.
Good.
I really thought it was Rita herself, but apparently it's a very large chain. That's not where we're from.
I think the
She said in the Northeast.
It did.
Not Rita. I wish she was Rita.
She could have been Rita, though.
We
Like,
can
if she
we can
had
call
not
her
brought
Rita.
up the fact that it was a chain.
I thought
She
I would've
definitely
thought
could
she
have
was
been
Rita.
Rita.
She had a good personality for hawking Italian ice. That's for damn sure.
Well, you also had Tajin on yours.
Yeah, I had Tajin for the layman.
The people who announce it.
Ghost tours. Anyone wanna?
Shout out Jeremy.
Yeah.
I'd like to shout out Jeremy, our new favorite ghost. Yeah, so we did this really cool ghost tour, which we went to like 14 different spots or something, and we got to talk to some like the local bartenders, which had some really like freaky stories. That one guy at the Irish pub, I forget what it's called, but the Irish pub.
Molly's, the brothel.
Molly's, yes, there's a former brothel up to what 1980,
94.
94. It was still open as an active brothel, which is pretty wild. But yeah, he had some pretty intense ghost stories of like, hearing things, of course, and like people walking up the steps when no one has access to those steps that are like now sectioned off, and things moving around, and
Bar stools flipping.
Yeah, when you like hear nothing. And then one lady who saw a ghost in the mirror, and then they could see in the security footage her like actually screaming and running away. So like it seemed really legit. So that was pretty cool.
They've gotta have some pretty crazy ghosts because of the hurricane in 1900
Yeah.
that I Googled before we came on this trip.
Literally, like the first thing Erin mentions when we get in the car on her way, we're still in Houston, and Erin's telling us this story.
And in 1900, there was a hurricane, and like 12,000 people died, which is really sad. And then
Tragic.
they thought to get rid of their bodies by bringing them out to sea, except for they all washed back up on shore. And they're like, oh no, what do we do? So they dried out the bodies and then burned them for a week straight. And so we got to see these places that they're like, here's where we brought the bodies in to dry them out.
Which was a long ways from the beach.
Yeah.
Like in the center of
By, like-
town. Like a 20-minute
by
drive,
horse and
probably.
cart.
And then they dried out these bodies to see if they could identify anyone, but they're all so swollen and gross that they couldn't.
Wouldn't recommend.
And then they needed help bringing them back to the beach, so they would just find people on the street, threaten them with their life to say, help me carry these bodies onto a cart.
Or you will be a body on a car.
Or you will be a body on a cart. There's room. And then burn them all for weeks straight. The smell.
Pretty bad
The seagulls.
hurricane. I do like looking up disasters.
And then they also proceeded to raise the island by 10 feet by just hauling in massive amounts of dirt rather than
yeah.
saying, hey, maybe we don't live there now.
They're very casual about that. Like, oh yeah, we'll just raise it 10 feet.
We'll just haul in
Of course.
millions of loads of dirt so that we can raise this place up 10 feet so we can still live here.
And put our houses on stilts.
Put our houses on
Still,
stilts.
just
That
in case
works.
it continues to flood. In case it continues to flood, we'll just raise our houses up. And then when your neighbor builds your house too big so you can't see the ocean, you'll just put it on taller stilts.
Put a deck on the roof. Amazing.
Yeah, that it's been interesting seeing all the houses on stilts and like the mansions on stilts. Like it's one thing
Yeah.
for us to be in this house that has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and like that's incredible in itself. But the freaking mansions, man.
The hotels. There's whole
Hotels
ass,
on stilts.
there's whole hotels on stilts.
Sorry, I put the explicit on my
Bleep.
podcast.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
There's whole bleep hotels on stilts. It's like wild to see these like 10-story buildings, and then but just like also there's like 10 feet underneath that is just like hovering. It's wild.
It's crazy. It's definitely crazy. Yeah, I think the haunted pub crawl might have been my favorite, just
A
because
lot of history.
I'm into that kind of thing, hardcore. We never told Jeremy's story.
Oh, poor Jeremy. Yeah. So here, I'm going to butcher this story, but Jeremy was a small student in Miss Sarah's class, I think. And in this is the 1900 flood, hurricane flood of the city. And Sarah was being the stellar teacher that all teachers are on a bad teacher salary and was like, I got to save all these kids. And went up like somewhere in the main street there in this building, and she like got all these kids up high, and she had to like be on the balcony and like sacrifice her life, and like she got like kind of caught up in doing so and getting all these kids, but the good news was she saved all the children. And then Miss Sarah dies from kind of her sustained injuries from the hurricane. But then poor Jeremy fell down the elevator shaft a day later. Still didn't make it. Sarah wasn't there. She did all that for Jeremy, and then he just trips down an elevator shaft. So sad.
in the 1900s
Just survived
on a flooded island.
Survived. Elevator
Just
shaft.
regular
Right.
stairs. That's
No.
weird.
I think, yeah. So, pouring out for Jeremy, but he's been following us around this whole trip,
Yeah,
I think.
there's been some weird moments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
that's good.
you
Mini golfing and beaching, and should we explain the rules of Skip Bow Extreme?
we did make up a
Can we
game.
just take a brief moment to talk about how we tried to go into a shitty souvenir shop, and it was actually the nicest souvenir shop I've ever been in my life, and we were so disappointed.
How dare you make souvenir shops nice?
Yeah, we're like, what would be great is if we find just a dumpy souvenir shop, which I feel like in my experience with vacation, if you go to like the main touristy area, like no matter what type of vacation you're on, like in our case, like it's a beachy vacation. So you go to the beach, it's going to be dumpy, cheap crap. And that's fine. That's what we expected and wanted to find. We were trying to find gag gifts for playing bingo to give to each
Bingo
other. Like
with your
we
friends.
wanted these to be bad. And we walk into this souvenir shop. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is one lit way too well. 2, it smells nice. This is not right, especially when the entire time here in Galveston, like the beach doesn't smell like great, fun, tropical beach. It smells kind of like rotting fish a little bit. But
Yeah.
I think we all kind of knew going into this. This wasn't like the
isn't
world's most
Hawaii.
beautiful, fancy beach. But it was nice. Things were spaced out well. There were things,
Not a
like
fire hazard.
signs
Yeah.
typed out.
No clutter.
There were signs typed out rather than like
Wow.
handwritten garbage signs. Like we wanted a dump. That's what we were looking for. So we were pretty disappointed by this really amazing souvenir shop.
But we
How dare they?
But then we found a dump after that, and it was amazing.
Dolphin World. No dolphins were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Bingo ended with us realizing we didn't have all of the bingo balls. So our Airbnb.
I recommended playing
Rigged.
the weird one, the letter
F.
Yeah.
for
Didn't even know that was an option.
We always play it in Freeport because it's
Freeport.
What else are you going to do in
F
Freeport?
is for Freeport.
yeah. I guess that's why.
F is for friends who do stuff together.
That is the 10th SpongeBob reference for those of us keeping track at home. Oh no, that'd be 11th because we told Corey careful SpongeBob during
Careful,
Skip-O
SpongeBob.
Extreme.
Skip-O Extreme, yes. Explain that.
Yeah, okay, Lindsay, give us the rundown on Skip-O Extreme.
Gosh. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what Skip-O is in the first place, it's basically a game where you lay cards 1 through 12 and you try to get rid of like your dealt pile before anyone else can. I think it's like 2 to 10 players or something. I don't know, whatever. But you try to go 1 all the way up to 12. Well, we decided today that we were going to completely reinvent the game because
Spice it up.
because why would we play a game the way it's intended when we could do whatever we want and cause ruckus? We're the least rebellious rebels you'll ever meet. We do things like reinvent the rules to card games. Like,
So nerdy.
do we always wear our seatbelts? Absolutely. But do we screw with the rules to games that are fairly well known? Of course we do. This is not the
Watch
first
out.
time we've done this. Anyhow, we decided that we were going to play the game in reverse. So rather than 1 through 12, we just started at 12 and worked our way back down to 1, which you wouldn't think would make the game that much more complicated, except when you learn it playing 1 through 12. I think it just like makes you not be able to comprehend it the other way around. And I think like a lot of us caught each other like forgetting to play cards because we're just like, oh, that's a 6. Yeah, a 7 should be next. I don't have any 7s. Well, no, actually, when you play the 6, the 5 should be next. It was a complete disaster. And then to add insult to injury, we thought, that's not enough. Let's do more.
More.
So then we decided, so I think according to the rules, the youngest player starts, which had gotten a little bit old, I think, because we had already played like 5 rounds this trip. And I, being the youngest of the group, was like, okay, I'll start every time. And I was like, okay, well, I feel kind of weird starting every time. So like somebody else should start. So then we decided whoever had the most inopportune card on their pile to begin with would start.
That was me.
Once was you, once was Josh, I think.
Yep.
No, but then we decided, okay, yeah, but what else? Because that can't possibly be enough, right? So then we thought, how about every single like lap around the track, we just pass our cards off. And so first we were going to pass them math clockwise. And then Aaron said, well, that's not cool, because then whoever was last decided there was nothing else to be played and gave away their cards to the person who had to play next, which totally didn't make sense.
And it would have been the same person every time, aka me, getting bad cards every time.
It was not about the welfare of the group. It was selfish. No. Anyway, so we decided to pass them backwards, which made the turns also confusing. And I don't know that any of us are really comfortable with how that is played, like at this moment. Like we played 2 full games, and I think all of us would still be confused at points.
What?
It was very interesting, but also like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a game you want to play if you have any distractions of any kind. If you have thought about having 1 sip of a beer, probably not a great choice. If you didn't get enough sleep last night, not a great choice. So that's the game. That was
Bow skip. No.
Bow Skip.
Bow skip.
Yeah. I tried suggesting it be Pix because it was like spelled backwards, but I think it was already confusing enough of a game that we could just use the words backwards, not the letters backwards.
Overall, great trip. It took us way too long to go on a group trip together.
Well, we became friends when we were 15, so
Yeah.
13 years of not doing an actual vacation together.
That's wild. But we did it. We
We're
did it,
here.
guys.
Did it?
We did it.
trip.
Group trip.
One of many, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so much fun. It was fantastic. So many great memories, so many great pictures and video.
Yes.
And that
See
Google
them all.
Drive folder is going to be popping.
So many memories that I'm so glad there are not pictures of.
Also
Or
true.
Like when your Be Real showed up and you
Oh
came
my
running down with your pants unzipped.
Come on, guys, we gotta do my Be Real. It's time to be real. Forget the pants.
When we're listening, like 30 years from now, Be Real was an app where you had to take a picture and like
Exact time,
It
right?
sends you a notification at like a random time of the day, and then it just says, "Hey, it's time to be real," and you're supposed to say your words. It's supposed to be like whatever you're doing in that moment, you take a picture of. So you get like a. I need help with words. That way, picture in this way.
front facing and back facing at the same time.
At the same time. So like you take a picture back facing first,
Yep.
and then it just like switches, and you get like 2 seconds to smile, and then that's the other one, and you post that. But like people can see like, so there's like a whatever the notification time is, you're supposed to do it within 2 minutes, and if you don't, then it like you can still do it, but it like shows like, oh, you were 3 hours late.
You weren't real.
Yeah, like you weren't paying attention to your phone every second of the whole day, so whatever. But I happened to be paying attention because my phone was dinging as I was like getting done going to the bathroom. So I'm like, I button my pants and I run out here like, we gotta take the picture.
Another thing that was not so pleasant was my credit card almost being stolen, but it was
Oh,
just
but not.
because a week ago my debit card was actually stolen, or the number of it was. So I had to switch my Amazon account to my credit card. And as we were having dinner, it's like, ooh, fraud. It was just my Prime membership, but I still said
And we
no
were-
because I didn't want to deal with it right then and there.
We're a little tipsy. You're like,
We were a
oh,
little
fraud.
tipsy.
Yeah.
Credit card fraud was not what I wanted to deal with at 7:30 having dinner. But shout out Magnify Financial, because even though it took 3 phone
Hey.
calls, they got it working. So MVPs.
You know what I was just thinking of? Why did Miss Sarah have all those kids? Were they having class during the hurricane? Why?
That wasn't the Weather Channel, Nick.
Didn't you just see a storm a brewing?
News was, oh, hey, there's gonna be a hurricane tomorrow. Maybe we should bunker down.
But they're like doing their ABCs, like didn't you see the
Were they
rain
just-
start?
Okay, were they like floating through the street and she was just like plucking them?
Plucking the kids out, maybe.
Like, Miss Sarah!
Miss Sarah, and Miss Sarah was getting in there, like, swimming Michael Phelps speed to get each kid through the debris, throwing them up on the balcony 3 stories tall.
Well, when you get to
I don't
heaven,
know.
you can ask Miss
I wanna
Sarah
meet
and
Miss
Jeffrey.
Sarah. Can't wait.
Oh,
Okay.
anything we've forgotten, y'all? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasure
Pleasure.
Pier closes at
Oh.
9. Shout out.
Shout out Pleasure Pier or not.
10, but it closes at 9 sometimes when they feel like it.
Yeah, Pleasure Pier is great for taking pictures on the beach of as it's lit up, not paying $11 to go there.
Yeah.
I'm sure we would have had fun, but like,
May have been cool. We might have bought $20 mini donuts, but that's probably about it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we kind of got smited on that. Is that the right word? Probably not.
Smoked.
Smoked? We smite them.
We smite them.
Action,
Smite you.
action of smite. But yeah, it was a good trip. Lots of fun. And now we get to pick our next one.
Galveston.
Cheers when I'm done with
when Lindsay's done going to school and the rest of us are done with our midlife crises. Hopefully over that by then.
Yeah.
Can't make any promises.
How about we get passports and go somewhere where we can just have everything brought to us instead of having to investigate
We've earned
things.
that.
Not that I'm like, I don't mind, like, I love the adventure, but like also something about people bugging me to see what I want to drink next screams my name.
Okay.
Swim at bar.
So everyone's got 3 years to passports and
Get them now, because they take forever.
We went.
facts. Oh yeah. Okay.
Mexico!
All right. See you in 3 years. That's the
See you
next
in 3
vacation
years.
podcast. Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out another episode of the Small Town Tourist podcast. You can follow me at The Small Town Tourist on Instagram and check out the blog, thesmalltowntourist.com. If you know of something cool that you think I should check out, don't be afraid to reach out. Send me an email, Abby, ABBEY, at thesmalltowntourist.com.